Hey everybody, welcome to the Real United States, and I am going to attempt to do another cooking video for you, even though I haven't undergone my my next plastic surgery yet, and I don't have my obturator in. But I'm going to attempt to go ahead and continue to make content anyway. Just one piece of business for those of you that are regulars here. This is what it looks like when you lose about 100 pounds and you're 6 foot tall. I have lost 10 inches off of my waist. It's pretty obvious. And I feel great. So my health is doing good despite how I may look. So today, as you see in the title, I am going to do an Asian barbecue hybrid kind of chicken and rice. And so I'm going to make the barbecue sauce, and then we're going to cook the rice with the chicken on it, and that's it. It's a pretty simple dish. I got 4 chicken thighs here, which we had in the freezer. So I need to get those thawed out. I hope you all can understand me. This, and I've got several of them you may see, is a clay pot. This is a Korean clay pot in this particular case. Clay pot cooking popular in much of the South America and the Pacific Rim. It's used other places. Think of it sort of like a slow cooker pot without the electric gadgetry. And we got these at the local Asian grocer. And boy, howdy, they work nice because they evenly distribute the heat and then they hold the heat. It's really, really nice. This is what I'm going to cook my barbecue chicken in. But for now, I'm just going to stick them in there. I'm going to try and stick them in there. And just sort of thaw them out a little bit. Sorry about that. I'm just going to stick those on top of the range. You can put them in the oven just as easily. And I'll turn that on about medium. And a little bit of water there. I'll just let those go ahead and start to thaw out while we're making our apricot barbecue sauce. So I saw this online, and I'm pretty sure that it was Reed Drummond from the Food Network, the Pioneer Woman, that had this recipe, but I wasn't able to locate it again when I went back, so I had to build it from memory. The recipes that she had for an apricot barbecue sauce were a little different than this one, but I'm going to give her credit for it anyway because that's where I remember seeing it. So this is a 10-ounce jar of apricot fruit. You know, it says simply fruit. It's an apricot jam, but the thing I like about this is it's there's no big chunks of fruit in it. It's all completely pureed. So that is really important to get your barbecue sauce so it's nice and saucy and not big chunks of stuff in it. So 10-ounce jar by weight turns out to be 8 ounces by fluid measurement. And that's what you need. You need 1 cup of this, and then you need a half a cup of tomato ketchup, and then you need a 1/4 cup, which is a combination of soy sauce and oyster sauce. I'm going to go about 3/4 of that 1/4 cup as soy sauce and about 1/4 of it is oyster sauce. You could also add some hoisin sauce if you wanted, you know, kind of a thing to your personal taste, but the base is going to be 1 cup, half cup, 1/4 cup. And that's it. And the only reason I'm putting them in a pan is so I can warm them up so that they'll soften. This will soften and it'll all blend. So, brand new jar that I can't get open. Yeah, I can. There we go. So I'm going to put my apricot jam in my nice little Windsor. I know it looks like a saucepan, but it's technically called a Windsor. And it's tapered like this, specifically for doing reductions. We're getting the moisture out of things. If you're going to make, you know, like a butter sauce, very important. When you're going to cook something au sec, meaning nearly dry, you're going to want a Windsor. Now you can do it with a saucepan, but I like toys, so I want myself a special pan just for doing reductions. So anyway, all right, now I have to resort to my measuring cups. I need a half a cup of just plain tomato ketchup. Close enough. And lastly, I'm going to get my quarter cup of soy sauce and oyster sauce. So again, I'm going to put about 3/4 of this quarter cup is going to be soy sauce. Hold on a second, folks. There we go. Magic hands behind the camera helped save me there. And then we're going to put in some oyster sauce. That's it. Voila. Just mix that up a little bit, get it going, get it started. Try not to get it on your nice clean white shirt. An apron or a chef's coat might be in order. I own both. I don't know why I don't have one on other than I was trying to show off. But you get this really deep brown sauce, very dark, rich, thick sauce. And I'm going to just heat that up a little bit. Down on low, folks. Do that on low. You got a lot of sugar in there. And if you don't do it on low, you're going to end up with it scorched, even doing it in the ceramic pot. So, as soon as that's heated up and we get our chicken thawed out, I'm going to go ahead and I'll show you putting that on and we'll shove it in the oven. So we're going to get the oven preheated and we'll be right back. Okay, our oven is just about coming up to temperature. I got it set for 350 degrees and it should be beeping right about now. There we are. That means it has preheated, and that means our chicken that we've had on the burner to thaw out should be thawed out. You're going to want a pair of these, folks, when you're working with these clay pots, because boy howdy do they get hot. So don't lead with your face because there's a lot of steam that gets trapped in there. And sure enough, that's all thawed out now. I mean, it's still a little frozen inside, but they're separated. So I got 4 chicken thighs in there. Look pretty nice. And all I'm going to do, my sauce all blended up real nice. And I'm going to just pour it in there. And coat the chicken with that beautiful apricot barbecue sauce. And I'm going to reserve that last quarter of it or 1/6 of it or something to use at the table. So now I'm going to fire this back in the oven this time at 350 degrees, as I said. And that's going to be in there for about an hour. We'll check. You know, it is partially frozen, so we'll see, but I'm going to give it an hour. Set my timer for 1 hour. And there you go. And then we come back. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start my rice, which I guess I can go ahead and I can get started proportioning, but I don't want to cook it now. So anyway, we'll be right back. Okay, our timer just went off. The chicken has been in the oven now for an hour. Should be pretty well baked and barbecued. Let's pull it out and have a look. Just don't lead with your face. Never lead with your face. Always a big rush of hot air. Oh, that smells good. I tell you what, boy howdy, I love the smell of that barbecue sauce. Let it steam out. Oh, yeah. Oh, it's a beautiful thing. Hey, isn't that gorgeous? Oh, nice. Cooked a lot of fat out of the chicken, but it's been stewing in that fat and barbecue sauce, getting all that flavor into the chicken. So that's it. But it's definitely done. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to prep my rice that this is going to go on top of. Pretty simple. I'm going to use, Bev and I don't eat quite as much as we used to, so we have found that for us, about a quarter cup of dry rice per person is about satisfactory. So I'm going to make this in individual bowls and give us each a quarter cup of rice. Again, these can be either done on top of the range or in the oven. Now, normally, when you're cooking rice, your ratio is about 2 to 1. When I cook these on top of the range, at least, the ratio of fluid to rice is 4 to 1. Otherwise, they're going to dry out. You lose a lot of moisture. What I have here is chicken stock, chicken broth, chicken stock that I made. We make a big kettle of this, quarts of it at a time, with chicken feet, because they have a lot of collagen in them. So this sets up, once it cools off, to kind of a gelatin. See, it doesn't really pour. But use chicken feet and some mirepoix, some chopped garlic, and, well, some cabbage. I like to put cabbage in mine with the mirepoix and the garlic. And I stew it for about 2.5 to 3.5 hours. Now I strain it, put it in jars, and put it in the fridge, and we have our chicken stock whenever we're making soups or rice or whatever, stews or whatever we want chicken stock for. To make this as easy to measure, I'm going to go ahead and stick this in the microwave, heat it up enough so it gets kind of liquid, so I can go ahead and put a cup in each one of those bowls. And you're going to cook your rice with your broth for 15 minutes. Then you're going to open it up, you're going to put your chicken on top, with a little bit of sesame oil. You're going to cook it that last 5 minutes. Pop it open, put out some chopped scallions and serve it in the cooking bowl. So let's see what happened to our broth. Well, it's a little bit fluid enough. And put that right in on there. I'll warm it up a little bit more. Yeah, melted it up a little more. I like that homemade chicken stock because it does have all that collagen in it. It gives it a very rich texture, and the collagen is good for you. It's about 97 or 98% of it is protein, so it's very healthy for you. And depending on the studies you read, it's good for your hair, your nails, your skin. some people will argue from other studies that that isn't true, that it's broken down in your body before it can ever reach your skin, but it's certainly a very healthy source of proteins, and I don't think anybody can argue that. And it just tastes very good. It has a very nice texture. So that is 1 cup per. Give that a little stir, just because. And I really don't mind if that ends up being too much fluid, because I kind of like my chicken rice as a little bit sticky, a little bit kind of almost a porridge, but not quite. So that's fine. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to stick that on top of the range. Both of them. His and hers. I'm going to start those on medium, and then I'm going to turn them down to low. Cook them for 15 minutes. I'm going to pop them open, put the chicken on top, and finish them off with the chicken and a little bit of sesame oil. We'll be right back. Okay, my buzzer has gone off. I've had my rice on the flame now for 15 minutes. I had to turn it down to low because it was kind of cooking over. I'm going to pull those off. I'm going to put them on top of these hot pads right here. Oh yeah. Pull them both off. Takes about 20 minutes to cook rice, so this is a little undercooked. That's why I'm pulling it off now. I'm going to take my chicken and I'm going to put it right on top of that rice. Beautiful. I'm going to stick this back on for the last 5 minutes, and then I'm going to finish it with sesame oil and scallions. So we'll put this back on the heat. Bada bing. Down on low. Lid back on. Back on the range. There we go. I gotta tell you, it took a little getting used to putting these clay pots onto an open flame. But we haven't had any problem with them. They work beautifully. Now, at my lovely wife's suggestion, in addition to the remaining barbecue sauce that we have for using at the table, I am going to save this nice barbecue sauce and chicken fat as an au jus to use to spoon over on the rice to give it a little more flavor if we so desire. Well, that stuff holds the heat for a long time, I want to tell you what. Now, like I say, this is going to be, I probably should have set my timer a little sooner. Give it an extra minute, ain't going to hurt nothing. You know, it's rice, it's not rocket science. I'm going to chop up a few scallions, not a lot, because they're mostly a garnish. A little bit of green scallion. And we got that. And we've got some sesame oil. And we will be right back to show you how we finish this. Okay, our remaining 5 minutes is timed out. So we'll just stop that. I'm going to go ahead and shut everything off. And I'm going to go ahead and pull these. And then, like always, I'm going to pray that my rice is cooked. Looks like it's cooked. I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to grab my chopped scallions, sprinkle those around on top. They're going to cook from the remaining heat that's left in here. And finally, a little drizzle of sesame oil. So I think we can go ahead and we can pull that camera off the tripod and we can bring it over here and see if we can see what's in the bowl here. You got to be real careful with your sesame oil just to put a few drops in here or it'll overpower it. And you don't want that. That's plenty, believe it or not. That is plenty. So that is, folks, a apricot Asian barbecue sauce, barbecue chicken and rice cooked in a clay pot. And it's relatively simple. It takes some time because you've got to cook your chicken and then you got to cook your rice. But it's not involved. You just sort of cook it, you know. I don't know. So anyway, that's it. I'd love to hear what you think, or I'd love just to hear from you. So please, you got questions or comments, just want to say hi, leave me in the comment section down below. I try to relate to everybody I can. Hey, if you're new here, well, welcome to the real United States. I hope you've enjoyed this. Take a look around. Please consider picking subscribe and coming along for the adventure because we've got lots more to show you. And as always, folks, thank you for watching.